birthday, kids. What time is it?
And what, week number 7? Wow. Jeez. Okay.
We're picking
more
week
weeks.
8.
Right. We're picking week 8. Yeah.
And because it's an 18-week season, because every team has 17 games in a bye, our report card shows are coming up. I don't know how we're gonna do
Can we just
these.
skip that?
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
We might have to skip that here. We might have to call them in on the phone and just have audio only.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. How'd you do this week?
It wasn't a great week, but it was respectable, I guess. 8-5. I know you did awesome, so
I did 10-3.
I was like watching them. It's like, oh my gosh! It's like not only did you get them right, and I got the ones you got right and I got wrong were mostly like just blowouts. It wasn't even close, and I'm like, how was I that wrong? It's like, geez.
Yeah, well, so I got a game on you the week before.
Yep.
And 2 this week, so I was trailing you by 6. I've cut it to 3 in 2 weeks.
Was it 6? Jeez.
Yeah, I was down by 6.
Was that much.
Yeah, yeah. So then we'll do after the 4th week we did a grand total. We'll do it again after week 8 next week. We'll total up our record and find out where we're at. But pretty sure I'm only down by 3. And after this week, I might be tied.
Yeah, might be. Yeah. Some of these games were like really not just shocking in that who won, because it's true what they say about the NFL any given Sunday, but just how badly it went. It's like, how what a blowout it was on some of these. It was like, really? Oh my gosh.
I know. Well, you know what? I mean, we're both going to throw a couple of the things that stuck out to us.
Yeah.
But before we do that, let's just address the elephant in the room. The Chiefs. They're broken.
Still, they are, and it's like it's taken me. It's like I just never wanted to believe it, I guess. But I guess my question. I don't know if I asked you this during the week, probably via texting or whatever. My thing is, it's happening not even like halfway done. So, can they turn this around? I mean, it's not like it's the 15th week. And they're out of the running. Can they still I don't know how. I mean, it seems like they have to do a lot to get it turned around. But geez, how did it get so bad so quick?
Their defense has always been bad, and it's still
bad.
That's
true. But
we talked about it before. It's the turnovers, and also it looks like in all their losses, Tyreek Hill has not scored a touchdown. In all their wins, he has. So there you go. I mean, it's clear that if you take Tyreek Hill away, or at least contain Tyreek Hill, they're done. They don't have anything else to do, especially because Kelsey's not there right now.
Yeah, that's true. And with the defense not doing well, the defense is always a problem, like you said. And then no real balance, really. Where's the running game too?
I was just going to say that. Allaire's hurt. And even if he was there, I mean, would they give him more than 12 to 15 carries a game? Probably not. So
no, the whole game plan is around like the fact that Mahomes can run around and make plays and stuff like that. But obviously, if a defense, like you said this many times, why can't they just cover Tyreek Hill and see what happens? And look, now we've seen what happens. They got to try to figure out a way to get other people into the mix. It's almost like the Aaron Rodgers and Adams. Same thing.
Yes.
It seems like if they don't connect, they have a problem on offense.
Yeah. And I think a lot of this does go back to a Super Bowl loss hangover, as well as the Buccaneers drew up the blueprint in the Super Bowl. They showed them how to do it. They showed the league how to do it. And you see teams like the Titans getting after them the same way the Buccaneers did. And Mahomes, any quarterback under that much duress is not going to do well. It's that simple. I mean, the key to beating them, I think, is to just go after Mahomes, keep him uncomfortable.
And it's also the general NFL, trying to even. It always seems to even things out. It's like you can't. you can no longer be a team which can go like the Patriots, where you can go like 10 years being on top. It's like I don't even remember it might have been the Patriots the last time a team reached the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. Never mind winning it, but it's like this would be the third year, so it's like it gets tough every single year.
It does. It
So.
does. And like we saw the first 6 weeks, especially with all the close games, the margin of error is so slim in this league now. I mean, they've really, there's a lot of parity.
Yeah, yep, for sure.
So I just figured, let's get the Chiefs out of the way.
I don't know. I don't know why in the back of my mind I still think that they can still.
Oh, I think so too, because they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and they're a good team. They're still a good team.
Or it could just be like one of those years where they kind of like mediocre and then reload it for the next couple of years. But
yeah,
we'll see. It'll be interesting, especially that division is really. I mean, I know Denver's kind of fallen away, but with the Raiders doing so well despite what happened, and the Chargers, geez, that's going to be really good.
What's shocking to me too is that the Chiefs rebuilt their offensive line, and they brought in a lot of veterans and stuff to shore that up, and it's not
really working.
Not working out. It looks the same as it did before.
Yeah.
So what else? Yep. What else do you have? What else did you bring?
I can't believe I'm so enamored with I mean, obviously we love the Chargers, but the Cincinnati Bengals. Holy cow!
What you called that one?
Yeah,
you called that one.
That was like, oh my gosh. What was that? Imagine if it wasn't for that stupid overtime loss to the Packers, where they'd be like way. They'd be like what, 6-1 or
5? Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What they did to the Ravens, just like a splash. It's like what's going on? It's like that Lamar. I mean, I haven't really seen a lot of the Bengals because for some reason they don't seem to be shown unless you have the the full NFL ticket. But Burrow, when he's healthy, and they got Chase. Was it Lamar Chase? Jamar Chase. Oh my gosh. He's putting up like 200, almost 200 yards every single time. It's like it's almost like they're becoming, what we just talked about, Mahomes and Hill. But I think they actually have like more of a running game as well, and their defense is better, for sure. Look what they did. I think they sacked I've never seen this Lamar Jackson being sacked 5 times in one game. What the heck was that?
Me either. You don't sack Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and 5 times. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna love seeing what they do from now on. As long as they stay healthy, I think they'll really be interesting towards the end of the season. I wonder if they're gonna just win out that division.
I have to believe now. Look good. I have to believe now. I mean, I didn't. I thought, okay, they're better, but they're still, no pun intended, a paper tiger. And no, when you pace the Ravens like that in Baltimore, that sends notice to the whole league.
Yeah, that's the official statement game that they were always looking for.
Yep.
Oh, you saw the bright spots last year and the year before, but it's always like against those mediocre teams that you're supposed to win, and then you go up against your rival or a big time team, and they kind of go away, to rebuild again. But this time, no.
And it was a close game at halftime.
Yeah.
And the Bengals just came out and pasted them in the second half, which you don't see that.
Yeah. I mean, I went like at halftime when I was saying, Baltimore will pull away, in the second half. I was so shocked.
Shocked. But you know what? Good on them.
Yeah, I love saying that. Like just see a whole bunch of new teams. Just I forgot what the number was, but like from year to year, I think on average, like half the teams don't make the playoffs from the previous year or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it all interesting. And we're still just talking about not even halfway through the season. So it's like, is it going to like be flipped upside down again?
It could.
In 4 or 5 weeks.
But we're doing it week to week, and now you got to go with the top stories.
They're fun. They're definitely fun. They're fun to watch.
They are fun to watch. My next talking point, and it's a game that we've seen much too much of where we live here in the Northeast. the Jets and the Patriots, and you got to sit here and at this point in time, who knows what's going to happen down the road, but at this point in time, are the Jets and the Jets fans going, oh my God, we drafted the wrong guy again? Bill Belichick drafted the right quarterback again. Zach Wilson still, I mean, he went out hurt, but he
got hurt.
Didn't look all that comfortable, shall we say.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's taking steps forward.
No,
either.
It doesn't. Meanwhile, on the opposite sideline, Mac Jones he's arrived. He's a full-blown pro. This game devolved so quickly into a scrimmage where Bill Belichick decided to start trying new stuff with Mac Jones. Why not? And even trying new stuff and experimenting and playing, they hung a 50 burger on the Jets, which, Belichick just can't stand the Jets, and he will do that any chance he can. Yep. But, I hope the Jets aren't wrong about Zach Wilson, but at this point in time, when you look at Mac Jones, who the Jets passed on to take Zach Wilson, it looks like they picked the wrong guy.
I mean, it certainly looks that way. I guess you have to look at the whole picture. Is it the right system, or do they have the tools to make the system work right now? And then not just like do they pick the right quarterback, but are they back at it again where it's like I've already heard criticisms of the coaching staff, and it was like at the beginning of this whole thing, it was like everybody was there was, well, we got the right guy, and he's probably, I'm not saying he's not the right guy. I mean, he looks like he should be a good coach, but now they're back in this situation where it's like it seems like last year where they're like, oh, get rid of the coach, and 2 years ago, get rid of the coach. It's like, it's both now that they're lamenting. It's like, did they get the right guys, both coach and quarterback? And that's like a total breakdown if you don't have both of those.
And that's something I was about to say is that, it's too early to tell. And you asked if Zach Wilson's in the right system and are the tools there to help him progress. Well, they turned over their entire staff. So
That's true.
Is it, I mean, we know what happened with the previous regime and Sam Darnold, and we know what happened before him with Mark Sanchez. I mean, it's just one after the other. It just seems to be a fundamental curse of the Jets that they just can't seem to get this thing on track. No matter who they bring in, no matter who they draft, no matter who they sign in free agency, they cannot get this thing moving forward. It's amazing to watch. It's amazing. You see it in Detroit. It's just a hapless organization. They just can't get this right. And I'm not saying that Robert Saleh is the wrong guy, and I'm not saying his staff is no good, and I'm not saying Zach Wilson is the wrong guy. But at this point in time, Week 7 of 2021, the Jets look hapless. They look lost. They don't look like they have any kind of plan for going forward. They look as bad Week 7 as they did Week 1. There's been no sign of any progress. Zero.
And unfortunately, they look as bad this year as they looked last year when they were all
last year and the year before that, right?
Yeah,
they just
the year before.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either. But apparently Rich Eisen said something the other day that this has been the worst start since the Rich Kotite era, and that was the worst loss to the Patriots since the Rich Kotite era. So you're right now you're comparing what's going on with this second overall draft pick, this new coaching staff, and as you said, Robert Saleh was supposed to come in and be the savior, and they're being compared to the Rich Kotite Jets already, statistically and on paper. So that's not good. That's not good. There's something wrong. I feel bad for Jets fans because every year they have eternal hope. Every year they think this is the year.
And I remember the general sentiment, including me. I'm not a Jets fan, but it was like, oh yeah, this guy is going to be, he's going to right the ship, for the coach, and it's
and
like
he might.
We're I'm not giving any judgment on him right now. It's like middle of the first year, it just like you said, given the history of it, it just looks really bad.
It does.
That there's no steps like forward. It's just stuck in the mud the whole time. It's like there's no change at all.
It does.
For
but
the better.
If we want to give the Jets fans some sort of hope, go back to Peyton Manning's rookie year. He was horrible.
Yeah.
He threw a ton of picks. I think he won one game, right? So.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Yeah. Or in Troy Aikman in Dallas with
Same
Jimmy
thing with
Johnson.
Troy Aikman. I was going to say that.
You know, Jimmy Johnson, Troy Aikman coming to Dallas, all these high expectations, and they go 1-15. So, you know, Chuck Nolan, Pittsburgh, his first year, drafts Mean Joe Green, and they go 1-15, or at the time 1-13. So, we got to see what happens. You know, we can't judge everything on this year, but in today's NFL, you expect instant results. And the Jets are not delivering on that.
Or at least some kind of improvement, like some baby steps, I guess.
Just a glimmer of hope. Yeah. and now Wilson's out for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And they had to bring Joe Flacco back. So
I saw that. Good for Joe.
Yeah.
It's like good for him.
Yeah. What else you
Keeps
got?
Getting played. Well, just the complete opposite of that. I mean, is anyone going to start the Cardinals at some point in this year? Not that they were playing such a high opponent last week, but geez, it's like every facet of that team is just, I don't know how it can get any better. It's like, and I was just thinking, like from what I've not little, but from what I've seen so far of the Cardinals, I've noticed Murray has not had to run almost at all. Like, not had to. I mean, I know he can, but he didn't have to any time like this year. I think his run statistics are way down, but not because he's being stopped, because he just doesn't have to. The rest of his offense is doing just fine, and which is good for him, because it's like the more he runs, the more at risk he puts himself. So that's a good thing. But man, like offensively, defensively, I guess we have to start the, if they win this week, we have to start the whole countdown. Is like, is it going to be that that perfect season type thing? I don't know.
Not in that division. They got to play the Rams twice, the Niners twice, and the Seahawks twice.
They've already pasted the Rams once.
Yeah, they did.
And the Seahawks the Seahawks and the 49ers don't look very good right now. Who knows?
Yeah, last week I was like looking at them going, well, the rich just got richer. They brought in Zach Ertz, and he gets a touchdown pass, pays dividends right away.
Wow.
And he said, do you see what he said? Something about, oh my God, when you play on this team, there's a lot of green in front of you. In other words, they have such a great offensive scheme that he was wide open in the zone there. He was wide open.
Which is, that's what I mean. It's crazy that, like, see, there's an example where he's not just homed in on one guy. There you go. It's like where it's like you take away one guy, and he's like three other ones that he can go to, and it's like, well, how do you start defensively to game plan? I mean, I know sooner or later someone's going to come up with something. Yeah. Just like they did with the Chiefs. I get it, but now we start the fun.
Hey, for a franchise that's been one of the also-rans forever, right. They're hardly ever competitive. Good for them. All I could think of, though, watching that last week was, I feel so bad for Larry Fitzgerald. It's kind of like the Don Mattingly thing. He walked away 1 year too soon. Mattingly left the Yankees, and they win the whole thing the next year.
I would have loved to have seen Larry Fitzgerald still on there,
Yeah, it just and they did this without Chandler Jones. He's coming back this week, but they did also lose J.J. Watt because it's J.J.'s annual, it's week 7, I'm done for the year routine.
Let's hope not.
Well, it looks like he needs surgery, and he will be
done. Is it? Is it that bad? Wow.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, luckily they're bringing in Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be, I mean, I know Tampa Bay looks unstoppable too, so it's going to, I mean, I don't even know if the two of them are on their schedule, but man, I'd like to see what happens if they play each other at some point. But we
might end up seeing that.
Yeah.
So you bring up the two good, happy, winning stories, and I'm going to bring another
downer.
What's going on here? Carolina. Since we're talking about Jets quarterbacks, Darnold gets benched in this game.
Yep.
This past week. They've lost 4 in a row.
4.
They struggled to score a field goal against the Giants. Now, again, in Darnold's defense, I heard right off the bat, because I was late to get to the games. I had a ball game myself. I was driving home listening to they go around the league, and they said that in the first half, Carolina receivers had already dropped 3 or 4 balls on him.
Yeah,
and it was that Robbie Anderson again dropping balls all over the place. So he's a knucklehead. Not saying anything, but maybe they should have him pee in a cup. Just saying.
Yeah.
Because he's just doesn't have his head in the game. Yeah, they're surprising. They look like a completely different team. And again, I thought about what I said to you last week. Is this the long-term effect of losing Ed McCaffrey for this long?
Yep.
Like when he went out week 3, they figured out a way to patch it together, get through that game. They barely lost that first game the next week.
Right.
But they still looked good. They were competitive. They're putting up the points, and then off the cliff they went. So,
but I wonder if long term it really just keeps piling up. Like you can convince yourself after a recent short term success. Oh yeah, we can hold on to the ship for until and they really did a good job first couple. But it just you can't lose him for long term, because then it just all the weaknesses kind of pile up, and he covers up for a lot when he's there,
including his quarterback,
and including like the defense. They go 3-and-out a bunch of times. Your defense isn't going to be any good, and he could hold on. He could he'd anchor like those long drives that keeps their defense well rested. So. I hate to keep saying that over and over again about the one guy, but in this situation, he really does make a big difference.
Yeah, well, it's horrible, because I had fun watching the Panthers in the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
and I remember I said they were always one of the most boringest teams to watch.
I remember.
And now they're exciting to watch. Now they're back to the most boringest team.
They are. On the other hand, I remember while watching this game and seeing it unfold, I remember you saying that one of the reasons you picked the Giants were they have pride in that organization, and despite all the injuries and all the things they have to work against, they really put a good game together. I know it was very close most of the game, but then they kind of pulled away at the end.
Yeah, it was a baseball score for a while there. 3-2, 5-3. Yeah. But the second half they pulled away. They finally scored a touchdown. They did that trick play where I forgot who it was, threw it to Jones, and he made this great one-handed catch. Good way to get your quarterback killed too.
I know.
Because he took a shot on that.
They probably shouldn't be doing that.
No, right. Yeah.
But he's got a lot of. We've said he's got a lot of athletic ability.
He's tough.
Especially
he's a tough
running.
Kid. Yeah.
He is. And I would hate to see. Not that I'm not a big Giant fan or anything, but I'd hate to see him get hurt badly.
Oh yeah, you don't want to see anybody get hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like watching him play.
So do I. So do I. And he was the reason I picked them at home. I was like, I figured Daniel Jones will figure out a way to gut this thing out.
Yeah.
Because when you compare him to Sam Darnold seems to wilt. When it falls on his shoulders, he seems to wilt. It's clear. And it doesn't look like a Jet thing anymore. It looks like a Darnold thing.
Yeah.
And Daniel Jones is the opposite. I mean, he might make a mistake trying, but he's going to give it his all trying to go down. He's going to go down fighting. So and that's what I like about Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I agree. He may make 5 mistakes, and then he'll still come back and still keep going.
Yeah, he'll go down swinging on. Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, one more each. What do you got next?
I guess should I stay on the good news?
Yeah.
I know we brought this up before, but man, Tampa Bay just holy cow! It wasn't even statistically, it wasn't even it was a mediocre game for Tom Brady, and yet 4 touchdowns. What? It's what? Do they just go out there and just I don't know, just ignore who they're playing? And obviously the Bears just look horrible again. I know we keep going back, and it's yeah, we were right the first time. Just fork them. I knew eventually it would be like that. We both knew that this wasn't going to be much of a game, but it's I get like the Jets, the Bears don't seem to be making any big strides forward. I mean, they're a little bit better off, but not that much. And there was that interesting story with of course, he gets another record, 600 touchdowns, And Mike Evans immediately just gives the ball away to
give it to a fan.
No,
yeah,
bring it back.
Did you see the shot of him on the bench when they told him, and he's like, "I gave the ball away."
Yeah,
he's all freaking out.
Because I know he does that all the time. I know, but geez, then they had to go and negotiate with the guy.
Another great fan Brady moment. I don't know if you saw it at the end of there was a kid in the front row of the end zone, and he had a little sign that said, "Tom Brady helped me through my brain cancer," or "helped me beat brain cancer," something like that. And Tom Brady saw it after the game, went up and gave the kid a hat and an autograph.
Wow.
The kid was crying when he met him, and it was really, really nice thing to see.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was really nice to see. Touching moment. Yeah. Good on Tom
I don't
Brady.
know what. Yeah, I don't know what you can. I don't know how much to take out of this game, like in terms of how good the Bucks are, as opposed to how bad the Bears. I don't know at this point. I mean, I know the Bucks are a good team, but are they going to be able to beat every team this way? No. I mean, that's like kind of like the Bears that just, I don't know, just can't get out of their own way.
Yeah, that looked like men against boys. It really did. It looked like when Kramer went to take the karate against the little 8-year-olds, and he was kicking the crap out of them all. That's what.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
I had that one too, so I'll scribble that off.
Okay.
My last one. It's a toss-up. I'm going to go with this one. The Vegas Raiders.
I'm glad you brought that up because I just thought of like, I wanted to talk about the Raiders.
The Raiders, yeah. They're the team we thought they were at the beginning of the year. They're a band of brothers. It doesn't matter who's coaching them. I'm happy to see them overcome the adversity.
Me too.
The league is better when the Raiders are competitive. It's just that simple.
Agree.
Going back to when I was a little kid, the Raiders and the Steelers had a classic rivalry in the 70s and into the early 80s, and that was always fun to watch. As much as I hated the Raiders, because those teams bring out the best in each other.
Oh yeah.
And when the Raiders are good, it makes the league interesting. So, to me anyway, that's what I say.
And Carr, he's just having an amazing
Carr's
year.
just having a great year. He's looking for a new contract next year, and he's just balling out.
Did you see he was 31 out of 34?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
He looks relaxed. He looks so relaxed.
Looks like he's having fun.
Yep.
I mean, the whole team.
The whole team looks like they're having fun. They're one of the few teams in the league that just looks like they're out there just having fun and playing with house money, and they don't care if they win or lose. They just go out and play.
And I thought, and this was my really bad one of the week, and it was like so stupid. And I knew the minute I said it was stupid. It's like picking the Eagles to beat them. I was like, are you kidding me? The Eagles are such a wow. What the heck happened? I mean, I looked on the sidelines, and it was like that. I don't even remember. Maybe I can't pronounce his name. It was like it looked like he was like just trying to look up things on the internet or something, like the total disinterest. So, like I don't know what was going on. It was like there was no focus, like almost disinterested in the whole thing.
And Jalen Hurts looks like that all the time too.
Yeah.
Whether they're winning or losing, he looks like he's thinking about other things.
Yeah, that's true.
He does. I mean, I'm not accusing
him
of not trying, and I'm not accusing him of not having his head in the game. But he's definitely not a Baker Mayfield rah-rah kind of guy.
Right.
That's for sure. He just kind of walks around like, meh.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Maybe he just doesn't want football to affect the rest of his outside of football life, I guess. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, some people are like that. Eli Manning was like that. Eli Manning, you couldn't tell if he was winning or losing. If you turned the TV on and they showed a shot of him, you wouldn't know if they were winning or losing because he looks the same all the time. And that's Jalen Hurts. He's doing the same. He's the same way. No emotion, just kind of bleh. Except when he scores a touchdown, he gets excited.
Right.
But when you see him on the sidelines, he looks like he's like, oh, I wonder what I have for dinner tonight when I get home. You know.
That team is a mess, though.
They are a mess.
Defense.
They're in a rebuild. Well, that's why they brought in a new staff and started over with Hurts. They're total rebuild. But Vegas, real quick before we go into the picks. Yep. I don't know if you heard, but Gruden actually spoke this week on a podcast.
I did hear him.
And he said that he basically feels that there is much more that's going to be coming, as both you and I surmised.
We figured.
It's common sense. but he feels like he was scapegoated. That they were looking into the Washington situation. They found this stuff about Gruden, and they kind of used him as the sacrificial lamb to make bigger stories go away. And I think bigger stories are owners and or Roger Goodell are part of some bad stuff. And this investigation was probably going to lead straight to the top of the league. And they found a couple of those emails and went, ha, we'll use this.
Right, just to get something out of it, so that they don't have to admit. I was like, there's nothing to it, but they had to find something because there's too much, too much going on, too much evidence that there's something going on. So let's find something and get, like you said, the sacrificial lamb. But it could just backfire because now instead of it going away, there seems to be a lot of other interest.
I said, they once again, and they take it a step too far. Okay,
right. That's the thing.
Cost him his job, fine. But trying to erase him from the history of the league is where you take it a step too far. And it makes it obvious now that you're throwing dirt on you're burying this guy alive to hide something else, right? You put something in the box with him and you're burying him because... And I agree. And I think he kind of reinforced my thinking with this whole thing started as investigating Dan Snyder in Washington. And how did it end up with him? And then it went away. Like, oh, we found out this stuff about John Gruden. Get rid of John Gruden, erase him from the history of the league, and then we'll just move on. Whatever happened to the rest of this investigation? This was a byproduct of their investigation. It wasn't the actual what they were targeting. They just found this. So I think there's a massive cover-up going on. I mean, the NFL's crooked. They're like a mob organization. I mean, they're tax exempt, for God's sakes. How are they tax exempt?
I know. You hear people up in Washington talk about taxing their. Well, how about the NFL?
$9 billion a year profit center, and they're tax exempt, and they make the military pay to have them the military honors.
That's
they
crazy.
Make them pay to do that. The league. Look, I enjoyed the game. I love the game. You love the game. But the league is corrupt as it gets. The league's a total corrupt organization.
It is.
So
I keep trying to push that side of it outside of because I
do too.
Love watching the game, but it's like I don't know.
I do too, and I have a lot of friends. I say, "Hey, did you see this game? Did you see it?" I gave up watching because that league is corrupt and they're a bunch of scumbags, and I'm like. I get it, but I love the actual product too much.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when there's an actor who's a douchebag, but you like the movies they're in. You have to separate the art from the artist.
Right.
The play on the field is the play on the field. All the other noise that comes with the NFL, they can blow me.
Yeah, and it does disgust me when I hear like. All these people who are basically connected to the NFL, maybe even employed by them, in media wise, they have to kind of like with the virtual, signaling,
virtue signaling,
and it's like, that is the worst. That it's like you got to just take them out of everything and all. And it's like no, it's like
better hope they don't make a mistake.
How are you talking about this when you're representing a league that's got tons of corruption? It's like just. Shut up! Just just say what you have to say.
They have guys on video beating their wives who are playing the next week, right?
Yeah. So stop with the.
Yeah, exactly. Just stop.
Everybody's so perfect.
Yeah. But let's get back to the product on the field.
Yep.
Now that we've gotten all philosophical. Week 8. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's gonna be another disastrous week.
Well, we got more games because last week there were 6 teams on a bye. This week there's only 2.
I know, that's weird.
The Raiders and the Ravens.
Okay.
Yeah, two teams that are fun to watch. They put them on the bench in the same week.
This whole thing with having 2, then 4, then 6. It's like, wow, I don't know. I can't keep up.
I can't keep up either. Who knows how this schedule?
That means more games to watch and see. So 15 this week.
Exactly. Starting. What day is today? Oh, it's actually Thursday. I think we crossed midnight.
It is Thursday. Yeah.
It is Thursday. All right, so it's Thursday, officially Thursday. So today at 8:20 p.m. on NFL Network, Fox, and Amazon Prime, the 6-1 Packers go to the desert to take on the 7-0 Cardinals.
And
The game of the week right out of the chute.
What of an amazing, just sheer luck that there's. Oh my gosh, that the two teams at the top of the conference are playing. I'm so looking forward to this game.
Me too. And I'll probably fall asleep at halftime because I'm so tired.
Oh, well, you got to deal with that too. But I'll try not to.
I might actually drink an evening coffee because I do want to see this game really badly.
Yeah, and I, it's like at first my initial thoughts were like, like Arizona unstoppable, and it's like I think this game is going to be a lot closer than that belief. I'm still going to pick Arizona, mostly because their offenses, I guess you could make them somewhat similar, but the Arizona's defense is playing much better than Green Bay. So I give them the edge on this, and I know sooner or later the NFL is going to do this, where it's going to take down the big guy that's of the year. I get it, but I'm still going to go with them.
Yeah,
with Arizona.
This is kind of a pick 'em, flip a coin. Here's a stat for you. So Davante Adams can't play because he's on the COVID.
Oh, I didn't even know that. But
do you know Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are 6-0 without Davante Adams?
No, I did not know
They're
that.
6-0 without him.
That's incredible.
Yeah, but I guess Valdez-Scantling now also. Is it Valdez-Scantling or the other guy? What's the other receiver there? Can't think of his name right now. Another one of them tested for COVID. So the two receivers are out. So, I mean, in a game like this, I got to go
Lazard, with
man. Lazard. That's who it is. I got to go.
Oh, it is. Oh, that's
I think it's him.
Gosh.
One of the
it's
two.
Worse.
One of the two tested. So, I got to go with the Cardinals at home. I got to go with the home team on this one.
I mean, I was gonna go with them anyways, but I hadn't even realized the news about Adams. Wow.
And the Cardinals get Chandler Jones back. They lose J.J. Watt, but that's an upgrade. You get Chandler Jones back.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah,
I like to see them both there, but yeah,
I love J.J., but every year he plays 6 games and he's gone. So, all right, let's get into the Sunday games. Oh boy, we got a humdinger right off the bat. 1 o'clock. Yeah. CBS. The 5-2 Cincinnati Bengals, who you are high on, and I'm surprised. Travel to New York to play the 1-5 Flacco-led Jets.
So yeah, obviously after everything I said, there's no way I cannot pick the Bengals. But again, I wouldn't be shocked if the NFL did that to me. It's like where we just spent like a quarter of the time just railing on the Jets, and then they come up with. But no, I think the Bengals will take good care of this game.
Well, who did the Jets get their one win against? The Titans, who beat the Bills and the Chiefs back to back, right? Who can figure this league out?
You're right. That's exactly the perfect example. Yep.
But the Jets are starting Mike White. Joe Flacco is probably going to end up in the game because I don't see Mike White.
He just joined them. I mean.
Yeah, he just joined them, but Mike White. Nah. Robert Saleh might throw the white flag early because the Bengals will be up 42-0 at halftime or something. Do I see the Jets holding their own against Jamar Chase? His last name says it all. They will be chasing him all over the field. Yeah, Cincinnati big on the road. Next up, now this, if Thursday night wasn't good enough for you, this might be the game of the week.
It might be.
The 5-2 Tennessee Titans travel to Indianapolis to take on the 3-4 Colts. 1 o'clock CBS.
Yeah, and this might be the one where it's like, the Tennessee Titans burned me the last 2 weeks because I picked against them. They put 2 of the best weeks of the year. How do you beat Buffalo and then Kansas City right after? Like wow. And after losing to the Jets, I was kind of like very kind of, oh my gosh, this is going to be a disaster for them. I'm actually more impressed about their defense.
I'm shocked.
After I especially was going off on their defense like late last year to this year.
They have a pass rush this year.
Yeah. And I know the Colts are improving week to week. They again, that was another one that I picked against them, and they beat the 49ers. So this week, I don't want to get burned by Titans again. I'm going to pick them, and I'll probably get burned because they'll lose this game.
I kind of have to go with like I have to sit down and use the force, and I have to feel the
Okay.
tremors in the force, and the tremors in the force tell me that Tennessee's going to screw this up this week.
Okay.
Um,
I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah.
it was to me the Colts have figured out who they are. The Colts look like who we thought they were going to be. I think they it's like they slipped on a banana peel and fell down a flight of stairs for 3 weeks, and then they stood up, dusted off, and said, "Oh, whoa, how'd that happen?" Like they look really good, and they got off to a bit of a slow start in San Francisco. And I was sitting there watching that, going, "Oh, Edson was right. I should have taken the 49ers." The Colts and Carson Wentz. He did that horrible shovel pass.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, the ball's soaking wet, and he there was no Colt there, and he tries to shovel. Where was he throwing that?
I don't know.
And when he did that, and I'm like, that might be ball game right there. You know, like they had a chance to cut into the lead right there. They were down by 2 scores right there, and he did that, and I'm like, they came away with nothing. The Colts are, but I was wrong. They looked awesome in the second half. Their defense was dominant, and Taylor looks great. I mean, he runs. He's a great running back.
And that was the two things that we both said about the Colts. I mean, if you get Taylor going and their defense, it's like that's them. That's their success.
They've got it going, and I just have a feeling they're on a roll right now. They're red hot, and so are the Titans.
Yeah, but both are.
To me, the Colts are going home, and this is the one like they need it more. They're looking at this and they go, if we get to 4-4 and we knock them down to 5-3, we're one game behind with half the season to go. It just completely changes the dynamic of the whole thing.
It does.
And the Titans are traveling. If the Titans were home, I'd probably go Tennessee, but I'm going to go Colts at home on this one.
And this is one where I'm afraid where it's like after the last 2 weeks that, are they going to kind of like emotionally be spent or whatever? And I went back and forth on this one, and I'm like, well, but this is against a rival in your division, so I still stuck with the Titans.
This game is going to be a heavyweight fight. I want to watch this game because both teams are riding high. They're on winning streaks. They look like they're both playing at the top of their game. Both teams on both sides of the ball. So I mean, it's a coin flip. It just looks to me like the Colts. I think the Colts have the little intangible right now that'll get them that win. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a great game. The Steelers are on at the same time. I don't want to watch the Steelers. I want to watch that. So
they both have great running games. So
they do, and I'm a big fan of running and defense, right? And they both got that going in spades right now. So the only thing I would give the Titans, Tannehill looks better than Carson Wentz. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, real quick, by the way, we forgot a game last week.
What?
Yeah, we forgot to do the Miami-Atlanta game.
I thought we did do it, and remember at the end I was like,
"Oh, I picked Miami and lost." I mean, I did it on paper, but we didn't do it on our show.
Oh.
We skipped right over it somehow. Yeah. I know, because I know you took Atlanta, and I knew you had Atlanta, and I had Miami.
Oh, but we didn't do it on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So keep me honest if I miss one, because that was 2 weeks in a row. You caught me the week before.
Damn, how did I miss that?
I don't know.
Jeez, I really want to forget the Dolphins this year.
Yeah, but I'm the one that forgot them.
That's probably why I didn't catch it that time, because I kind of just
Yeah. Back to our previously scheduled program. 1:00 Fox. The 6-1 Rams.
Yeah.
Travel to Houston to take on the Ingramless Texans. You see that? Mark Ingram just went back to the Saints today.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Wow. Okay.
So
it's starting with the trade deadline must be coming up. The
it's
moves
this
are
week.
starting.
Yeah. Yep.
So some movements back. Well, I got to make a note of that to bring that up next week on whatever move, any kind of major moves.
Big moves,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Houston has been a lot more competitive than I thought they would be, but it's just such a mismatch here with on a pure talent basis. So, I mean, definitely go with the Rams.
Yeah, Rams at home. Rams on the road. I mean, I have one question about this game. Where is Tyrod Taylor? Has anybody heard from Tyrod Taylor since he got hurt? I mean,
Not
Davis
since he
Mills
got
is still
hurt.
playing. Where is this guy?
How come there's no reports on like updates or progress reports?
It's just like
It's almost
last year. It's like
last year when he was taken away. Yep.
it's like
Some with that medical mistake or whatever, and then some kind of injection or something, and
yeah,
then that was it.
that was it.
And then you never heard from him again.
This poor guy. Like, what happened? Where'd he go? It's unbelievable. It wasn't that bad of an injury, if I remember. Wasn't it like a
I didn't think it
hamstring or
was.
something? Yeah.
No.
It was weird. I don't know. Who knows? 1 o'clock, CBS. Actually, pretty good matchup here.
I think
The
Oh,
3
I
and
think
3
that-
Steelers travel to
I think
Cleveland to take on the the Patchwork Browns. They're pretty beat up.
I think this is going to be a good game.
So
and
do
I'm- and I honestly went back and forth on this. Well, like, I'm still not sure because I know like they're up in the air about. I don't think did they make a decision about Mayfield yet? I don't think they did.
I don't think they did either, but
I think he's hopeful, but I don't know, or at least possible, I guess. But they don't know. I don't know. I honestly, I'm sitting here and I still don't know. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh
okay.
because I keep going back and forth on it, and then,
The Browns are a walking mash unit right now. But
mainly because of that.
but they do have Nick Chubb back.
It's true.
And you know what? The way that other, what was his name? Eugene.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I forgot he was
Harrison?
just like
Was that his last name?
it was almost like there was no missing of the beat on their running game.
148 yards again,
Yeah.
And he looked good.
He looked good.
He looked good. He might find himself a home somewhere next year because he's not going to stay there. Not with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So, regardless whether Baker Mayfield plays or not, I think Case Keenum knows that system really well. The Browns are home. I think the Browns are going to win.
Okay.
I think their ground game is going to chew Pittsburgh up. Their ground game and their tight ends. They have awesome tight ends in Njoku, and the Steelers have always had trouble covering tight ends.
Right. Yeah,
Devin Bush is having trouble covering receivers, and his backup Robert Spillane is even worse. So it'll be close, I think. It'll be kind of low scoring, kind of like the Denver game was, but I think Cleveland will pull it out. So
I was just thinking that the Steelers did find their running game too. I mean, I know they were on a bye, right, 2 weeks ago, and hoping they kind of just retool the offense a little bit just to stay that way with that balance. But who knows?
Yeah, again, watching the Steelers play the Seahawks, they're not good. They're just not good, and I know the Browns are not really the Browns. I know Jarvis Landry got hurt again the other night against Denver. I don't know if he's going to play or not, but I don't think the Steelers are a very good football team. Period. They're average. They're an opponent. That's who they are. My friend Doug used to say that the Seahawks of the 80s and 90s were just an opponent. Every year they were 7-9, 8-8, 9-7. They were somebody to play. They might beat you or lose. It's going to, they're a 500 middle of the pack, middling team, and that's the Steelers. Good defense, shitty offense. If the Browns at home. Close one.
Remember those days of the NFC West? It was like the Seahawks won a division one year at 7-9. I
do remember that. And then Marshawn Lynch went beast on the Saints in the wild card game.
What a change that's been with the division.
I know. All right, next up, 1 o'clock on Fox, the 2-5 Philadelphia Eagles that you hung your hat on last week.
Yeah.
Travel up to Detroit to take to take on the Lions, which was on one of my talking points. That the Lions they played hard against the Rams. They showed up.
They really did.
They showed up.
And I think they showed up for at least half their games, maybe even more. They've been, I know, the 0-6 record does not really reflect how hard they've been playing and competitive in a couple of games. I think they should have won a couple of games too, but So I'm actually going to pick them. Probably this is probably more like a personal. I'm mad at the Eagles for killing me last week, but it's also because I, Detroit has played, about as well as they can play, and I know that means, well, if they played so well, that means they're talent wise they must be really bad against everybody because they're 0-6. But not all of those games where they lost because of the talent. It was some crazy stuff too, and they're home, and I think this was probably the one game they could maybe try to pull out to win. I mean, I thought a couple weeks ago against the Bears would have been the one, but they blew that one. So maybe this one will be it at home. I don't know. We'll see.
I agree. I'm also taking the Lions at home. I got to finally watch them for a bit this week. I hadn't watched them at all. And
I've seen highlights. Yeah,
Dan Campbell was very aggressive. He tried an onside kick.
Yeah,
I mean, he's playing a team that he's clearly outgunned, the Rams. He does an onside kick and 2 fake punts, and he had them right there. They were going in for a score that would have, I think, they would have caught the Rams at that point.
It would have been like
brought him within 1 point, maybe, or 2 points.
1 point. Yeah, yep.
And Goff threw a pick in the end zone because he's Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And that was ball game. But Jared Goff can beat the Eagles, and Swift is awesome. That guy, man, he's.
I remember last year, like that he had kind of like I watched a couple games, and he had a couple of a shaky start because he dropped some passes.
Yes,
one in the end zone, and like, but I'm like, but this guy's. I hope they do not give up on this guy.
Oh, he's
he's going to be good for them.
What a running back! He's like an Alvin Kamara type back. If Detroit can put more weapons around him. And they have a good tight end. I mean, they're not totally hapless. They're not bad at all. So I think they get off the schneid. They get their first win at home this week against the Eagles, who don't look very good.
Yeah, that's a good point about Dan Campbell. He approached that game with the right way. It's like, we know we're outmatched, so we got to just throw a bunch of stuff and see what happens. And they were competitive through most of that game.
It was a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
And while I'm watching that, I'm thinking, okay, the Lions are playing on Thanksgiving this year. I might sit to actually watch it. Usually it's on as background noise. I might sit and watch some of that because the Lions were fun to watch. So we'll see. Next up, 1 o'clock on Fox. The other MASH unit, the walking wounded San Francisco 49ers at 2-4.
Again.
Travel to Chicago to take on Edson's forked Bears at 3-4.
They can't stay. Well, at this point, I might fork both these teams. Jeez, 49ers because of injury, and I don't know. There's something missing there.
A quarterback?
Yeah, that's it exactly. So the way they started that game last week, they just right down the field, 7-0. I'm like, all right, now this is the 49ers I thought I was looking at. It was like, and then afterwards it was like, what? What are you doing? It's like they couldn't get anything going after that, and their defense was playing decent, but
they were reliant on 2 players.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I mean they are. I'm really down on them, but going against Chicago, I think they will win this game. But I don't really see a lot of bright spots for them for the rest of the year, like in that division. But I'll pick them this game though.
49ers on the road for me.
Yep.
With or without George Kittle, they're still a better football team than Chicago right now, and that defense with Bosa and all those guys up front are just going to make Fields' life a living hell.
Yeah, they're wasting that good defense.
They really are. Boy, oh boy. So I'm taking the 49ers on the road. Next up, 1 o'clock on Fox. The most boringest team now to watch, the Carolina Panthers, travel to Georgia to play in the Dome against the hot and cold Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, hot and cold is right. It's like that was actually a good game with them and the Dolphins. I mean, it was a pretty good game.
And Tua played great. He brought them back. And
Yep. I saw a lot of bright spots for Tua and how he ran that offense. Obviously, he's going to make his mistakes. But see, that's one thing that I see. I do see some steps forward for them, even though their season is basically over, which is opposite of what we talked about with the Jets. It's like if you don't see any kind of positive steps for, it's like there's no hope for like the next 5 years. But with the Dolphins, at least you see something from him that make it look like he's going to be their quarterback. So I still like watching them play, just to see how he does. But in this case, I'm gonna pick Atlanta at home. I mean, Carolina is just in a disarray, and I know I like the coach. I think he's a good coach, Matt Rule. But it's like I don't know what's going on there. It's like I know we said it, it's mostly McCaffrey, but there's got to be other stuff. It's with that quarterback. So I'm going to go with Atlanta against Carolina.
Yeah, the Falcons, the last 5 games have looked really solid.
Pretty good.
They've figured out Patterson is an all-purpose guy who's built like a Sherman tank, and Kyle Pitts now, the rookie tight end receiver hybrid.
Like 2 weeks in a row now. Yeah.
You see these catches, these one-handed catches, and he just looks awesome. Still have no running game, but Matt Ryan looks like he's having fun. He's playing loose. I'm also taking the Falcons at home. The Carolina is weird because Darnold looks about as bad as he did at his lowest points in New York right now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And Matt Rule benched him and said, oh, no, he's still my starter going forward. And then immediately picked up the phone and called Houston and inquired about Deshaun Watson.
Wow.
So I don't know if Darnold's time in Carolina is winding down, but they're in a downward spiral. And until they get McCaffrey back, I don't think they're going to win again.
Jeez.
I don't get it. They're dropping balls. He can't hit Darnold can't hit the broadside of a barn. He's throwing picks. They're a mess. They're an absolute mess. What happened?
Yep.
They looked so good the first 3 weeks. Of course, they played teams like the Texans. But you don't pick your opponent. You play who's on your schedule,
But they still actually look good against the Cowboys.
They looked good there too. Yeah, they did. That was a close game they lost, but they were still playing really well.
Yeah.
It was right after that, right off the cliff.
Yeah.
It's almost like when they found out McCaffrey was going to be out for an extended amount of time, they all put their heads down and gave up.
Report.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's weird. I mean, they don't look like the same team at all. And until he comes back and I see some noticeable change, I can't give them a chance in any game right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Moving on. 1:00 Sunday, CBS. Your Miami Dolphins travel up to Buffalo to take on the guaranteed angry Buffalo Bills.
I just picture that being all angry out in the field. And given like the recent history of these two teams, I'll be interested in this game for 2 things. Can the Dolphins keep them from under 50 points? And can the Dolphins score more than 7? That's basically it. Because in the last 2 games, Buffalo scored more than 50 points, and I don't think the Dolphins scored more than 7. So definitely Buffalo to win. But I want to see if they can at least make some kind of game of it or something.
So what you're saying is, if you were making the spread right now, the point spread, it would be like minus 49.5.
Yeah. So, well, I'm assuming the Dolphins would score, so maybe it'll be like 42.5 or something. No, yeah, it would be.
Yeah, I mean, Bills at home coming off a tough loss where they probably might have won the game if Josh Allen doesn't slip in the wet grass and fall down. Game of inches.
Literally.
It really is. A lot of these games come down to but give Tennessee credit for getting the push.
Definitely.
They got the push on the defensive line to get them to slip. So
yep.
They had leverage anyway. Miami. I felt this week. I felt bad. I thought when they got down big, I said, "Oh, damn, Edson picked that one right."
It's okay.
And then they came all the way back, and I got to tell that Gesicki, he's awesome. That tight end, Mike Gesicki, he is really good.
I like him.
Yeah. But yeah, they're not going to have a chance up in Buffalo. I feel bad. They're going 1-7, man. Yeah, I thought they'd be a wild card team this year, Miami. Ouch.
Try to draft somebody good. No, the high draft pick.
That's just it. You know what? That's why I'm mad at the Steelers. Stop this 500 crap. Just lose out.
Get a mediocre pick again.
If you're not going to make the playoffs, just lose out. Next up, we get to the 4:05 games, or the 4 o'clock games, the later games. This is going to be a good game.
I know what you're going to say. This is an interesting game.
It's an interesting game that 2-3 weeks ago I'd be like, it's a blowout. The 3-4 Patriots head out to, I was going to say San Diego, to L.A. to play in the Rams Stadium against the Chargers.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this should be an interesting game. I think it will be. I think it'll be closer than what I would have originally thought about this. And then given how the Chargers got completely stopped against Baltimore, is not that Belichick needs any help devising anything, but will he look at that game and see if there's some really good trick to stop the Chargers offense there, and come up with a good defensive plan. I'm still gonna go with the Chargers because I think they just have the better talent, but I wouldn't be surprised how if this was really close and if kind of New England got lucky with this game. But I'll pick the Chargers.
Yes, you said everything really well. It's always hard to give the Chargers a home field advantage because they don't have one.
I'm not putting. Yeah.
The only home field advantage I will give them is they get to stay on the West Coast and they don't have to travel to Foxborough, which would be a 3-hour body clock difference and whatnot, playing out in the cruddy elements. Because now we're getting into this time of the season on the East Coast when these California teams come east and they're playing in cold, rainy crap. That's going to affect them.
Yeah, I got to start looking at weather now.
I think we're going to have to add that to the show going forward. The outdoor weather reports on the outdoor. Yeah. Because it will definitely. I mean, but it's hard on a Wednesday when we're doing this to predict what's going to happen on a Sunday or Monday weather-wise. But yeah, this is one of those games where Belichick could reach down in that bag of tricks and boom, pull off an upset. Because one thing he's got is a quarterback who has no fear.
That's true.
Where, again, 3 or 4 weeks ago, when they were giving Mac Jones less to do and a shorter leash, didn't look all that much like a pro quarterback, but now looks every bit a pro quarterback to me. Hunter Henry, the revenge factor, he was all pissed off at how they treated him and ran him out of town with the Chargers. But all that said, the Chargers have more talent. The Chargers still have the better quarterback, potential league MVP. So I'm going to take the Chargers at home as well.
But that is a good point about New England and Belichick bringing Mac Jones little by little. And I remember the clamors early in the year was like, oh, they're so boring. They don't do anything. And look, what is he doing? He's like putting the handcuffs on him. Well, maybe he had the right idea. Just open it up little by little by little. And with that self-confidence and not destroy him right away.
Yeah, I think not only that, I think a lot of it was how fast can he absorb all the plays. So, beginning of the year, very vanilla, probably a 2-page playbook, right? And now it's probably up to 15 pages. And you can see each week they give him a little more to do, and his confidence keeps growing. And the last 2 weeks, the Cowboys game, the Jets. I mean, he looks like a veteran quarterback now. There's no early in the year he had that kind of scared, confused, kind of dazed, glazed thing going on. No, not anymore. This is scary because this has all the earmarks of another Bill Belichick run written all over it. Yeah. It really does. Next up, this is fun and a tough one to call.
Probably.
4:05 CBS, the 1-5 Jacksonville Jaguars, after their first win 2 weeks ago in London, go up to Seattle to play the Geno Smith-led Seahawks.
Yeah, this has the looks of one of those 6-3 games.
I was going to say 9-6,
10-7. But and I certainly don't think that the Seattle home field is what it used to be. But I saw a lot of the game against New Orleans with Seattle, and I was shocked. Fourth quarter, and it's a game tie. I didn't even think it would go that way. So I mean, I don't want to give Geno Smith a lot of credit, but he seemed to be running that offense decently for what he had. I mean, I'm not saying it's great, but I'm saying for what he had and the talent he has, and I think they'll beat the Jaguars, even with obviously he's still playing quarterback. I saw a couple good things last week against the Saints. I didn't think it would be that close of a game, so I think they'll beat Jacksonville. I think.
Okay, I'm taking the Jags.
Okay.
Gino, I mean, look,
Yeah.
he's played 2 games. He hasn't thrown a pick. He did fumble against the Steelers in overtime. But this week he only threw for like 140 yards and 84 were on one play.
True.
Their anemic offense, I think, is going to have trouble with Jackson. I think Jacksonville's going to put up some points. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to throw for a touchdown or 2, and I think what's his face, the back James Robinson, is going to run all over. The Seahawks defense is terrible. They're terrible.
Yeah, that's why I was so surprised that the Saints couldn't do more. But
I think this one smells to me like Jacksonville actually on a 2-game winning streak. So I'm taking the Jags.
Okay.
On the road.
I see all you good points. I'm surprised. I'd be surprised too if they didn't try to open it up a little bit more with the Geno and the off. They got great receivers, and I know New Orleans it would be tough because New Orleans got a great secondary. But against Jacksonville, why not try to get them to do more? I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think this is definitely I see all your points too for Seattle. This is a tough game to call. It really was.
It is. I agree.
I just feel like Jacksonville can score more points than Seattle can, and that's going to be the difference. Because Seattle's defense is awful too. Next up, 4:25 on Fox. The team that's disappointing us the most, the Washington football team at 2-5, head up to Denver to take on the sliding, reeling Broncos, who don't know what's going on through a 4-game losing streak. Yeah,
I know. They seem to be like a carbon copy of the Carolina Panthers, except they don't have that one guy that they
can rely on.
They depend on.
Yeah.
It's like, so what's their problem then? It's
everything.
It seems like everything. I don't know. I think these two teams are kind of similar. They're kind of just like you kind of described it, like the way you described the Pittsburgh-Seattle game, like trying to slog it through.
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't seem to do anything really, really well, and just kind of mediocre at everything. And I'm just going to go with Denver because of the home thing. But I wouldn't be surprised if they lost another fifth game in a row here.
Opposite. I'm taking the I almost said the Redskins. I'm taking Washington.
Yep.
At some point, and it sort of showed up a little bit last week, their defensive line has got to start producing. They're too good. Those 4 guys are too good.
They are good.
And then to me, it comes down to Heineke versus Bridgewater, McLaurin versus, I don't know, you could say Patrick or what's the other guy there? Sutton. And then Antonio Gibson versus whoever's running the ball for them. Which, I mean, Denver has 2 good backs.
Yeah.
And to me, it comes down, the tiebreaker is actually, believe it or not, Heineke.
Yeah, I like him. He's been doing very well.
I think Heineke can do more than Teddy at this point. Teddy's got something wrong with him. I think he's playing hurt.
I don't know what's going on.
He's playing hurt. He doesn't look right. And for whatever reason, they're reluctant to pull him and put
Locke,
Drew Lock in there.
Yep.
For obvious reasons, maybe I'd be afraid too. Maybe a bad Teddy's still better than a healthy Drew Lock. I don't know. But I just think Heineke will somehow, like, he's such a gritty Brett Favre kind of guy. I think he'll find a way to will them into a 2-point win.
And on the opposite of what you just said, I'm still waiting for the Denver defense to show up too.
Yeah, I know.
They're supposed to be good. I mean,
Bradley Chubb is out, and Von Miller left the game after running his mouth all week that he's going to run on to kill the Cleveland tackles. It's going to be a nightmare for them.
Well,
he didn't do anything and left the game in the second quarter. So,
yeah, what happened to that defense? Jeez.
Well, those two guys are a big part of it, Chubb and Miller, and if they're both not playing, then yeah. So we'll see. Who knows? We certainly don't. Next up, 8:20 Sunday Night Football. Another good game. The 5-1 Cowboys head up to Minneapolis to take on the 3-3, suddenly 3-3 Vikings.
Okay, I'm calling a timeout here. Isn't Tampa Bay and the Saints playing at 4:00?
Did I miss one? I did.
Did we cover Tampa Bay
and
the Saints?
You caught me.
Right.
I went somehow. I skipped right over it.
I thought you were testing
4:25.
me. So
no, thank you. See, I'm going blind. It's late. It's a whole list of little.
Very late. Yes.
The list of graphics is so tiny, and I just kind
of. I gotta get to sleep soon. Yeah.
Yeah. 6-1 Tampa Bay travels to 4-2 New Orleans. Thank you for catching that at 4:25 on Fox.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make it real quick and simple geez, after watching the Saints struggle against Seattle, Tampa Bay, it's like, come on, home or away, I would pick the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm also taking Tampa Bay on the road, and like you said, because it comes to me, I mean, the Saints have a good defense, and the Saints have
I know, but
Alvin Kamara, and they've got a lot of weapons, and now they got Mark Ingram back, so they got that thunder and lightning thing going again, but and not right away. Ingram's got to be brought in, and
yeah.
But it comes down to Jameis Winston versus Tom Brady.
Oh yeah.
Hello, game over. All right, now we can get to Sunday Night Football.
And this is probably going to be a really good game.
Al and Chris get to call Dallas at Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dallas because they're flying high and they had the bye week to try to get Dak Prescott over the injury that he had. Not even sure. I mean, I think he looks like he's playing. Which was lucky for them that they had the bye week there because he might have not played if they didn't. But I'm going to go with Dallas, but I think this is like a dangerous game for them, and they need to they can't have their usual that start that they had against New England with giving the ball away twice near the New England goal line. They can't start that way, and it may go on like an avalanche towards them if they start that bad. So I think it's a dangerous game for them, especially at Minnesota. I'm still going to pick them, but watch out, Dallas.
Yeah, I'm with you. Dallas, at least to this point, looks like a legitimate Super Bowl team to me.
Yeah.
Their defense has come a long way, and a lot of that's because of Diggs. He's got, 7 interceptions in 6 games?
Yeah, I saw a stat that it was like that you might like. I think he said the only other person who had that many over his first 6 games was Rod Woods. They say
Rod Woodson.
Yeah, Rod Woodson.
It was Rod Woodson.
Yep.
I remember that year. It was 93, and he had 7 picks in 6 games, I think, right? And 2 were pick sixes. It was he started that year on fire.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm so amazed by. I remember the draft when they were like, who was that? Surtain, who was like the highest rated, and it was like, I know the Cowboys are going to look for him, and then Denver, who already on paper had a great defense, wound up taking him, and it was like, oh my gosh, who the heck are they going to grab now? And it's like he wound up he's at least for now, that's a good pick.
Absolutely.
Diggs. Wow.
Absolutely. They look really good. Prescott looks amazing. Their running game is firing on all cylinders, both backs, both Ezekiel and Pollard.
Yeah, I think it's so much better for them to do this.
Their wide receivers are killing it. The tight end, everything is working. Their offensive line, everything's working for Dallas. They look so good. But as you say, and I didn't wear purple because I'm going with the Vikings. This will not be the Vikings will not be a pushover, and could win the game on a special teams play or something. Who knows? But
special teams play, yeah.
I do think that it'll be a close game, but I think Dallas will end up pulling away in the end, winning probably by like 9. But
yeah,
it could
Kirk
easily
Cousins
just go
is playing very well.
Yeah,
and they have that great running game too. So
Yeah, Dalvin Cook and Jefferson, and their offense is great. I mean, it's going to come down to the Minnesota defense against the Dallas offense, I think. Can the Minnesota offense do anything against that really strong Cowboy defense? But I do think this is the game. Diggs will not get a pick. His streak ends. Because now that I said that, that means he will, and he'll set a record. I want to see
It'll be pick 6.
I want to see it. I want to see him get another. I want to see him get one in every game this year. Wouldn't that be amazing?
I think he already has more than the whole Dallas defense had last year.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm not kidding.
Easily. He's got 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
And last but not least, or maybe it is, Monday Night Football, ESPN 8:15 on Monday night. The New York Giants at 2-5 travel to Kansas City to take on the 3-4 Chiefs, where it's not all rainbows and flowers, as Patrick Mahomes said the other day.
Mahomes. That was kind of cool. He said that. I mean, given the current state of what's happening with the Chiefs, this may be a better game than it looks. I'm picking the Chiefs because I still think that they have something. That I refuse to think they could fall that far, and keep losing. And now they're playing the Giants at home, which is not the same thing as some of the other opponents that they had. And the Giants had a good game last week, but they're still not the upper echelon. But it's still it'll be a dangerous game for the Chiefs if they kind of just like nonchalant their way through the first couple quarters, give the ball away, and with that defense, because Jones for the Giants, like you said, can do some damage. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs, but they better be careful with the ball.
I am also going with the Chiefs. I have a feeling this is gonna be one of those things where the Chiefs show their pride and make a statement.
Just shellac them, yeah.
And just completely smoke the Giants at home at Arrowhead on national TV on Monday night. This is the one where Andy
shut
Reid
up
said,
about criticizing. Yeah, so.
Andy Reid's going to go out before the game and put 3 circles in the field. And he's going to go back in and say, the 3-ring circus is outside, go put on a show. And I think they're going to. So, Chiefs at home.
Set up that way, yeah.
All right, so that's it.
I agree with you, and they're very capable of doing that if they kind of play their game. But stop sleepwalking.
I think 3 and 4.
The first half of the game.
I think 3 and 4 was the alarm call. That's the alarm clock. They're below 500. They haven't been below 500 in 7
below 500 years. And this much into the season,
right?
Almost halfway. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They're gonna put on a show, I think. All right, well that's it. That's our picks. I'm 3 games behind you. We have, I think, 3 different, so we could end up tied, or I'm right back to where I started, 6 games behind you. So.
Or it could just be 2 or 1.
Yeah, right.
A 2-1 thing.
You see, I go for the extreme, one way or the other. No, in the middle. I'm either gonna lose them all or win them all.
All right, that was a pretty amazing week last week. Jeez.
It was. I was pretty happy with that.
I mean, other than my Philly pick, I was still confident about all my other ones, and it's just so bad. Wow.
Yeah, it happens. That's what we did last year, and we ended up 1 game different after it was said and done. Yeah. So, all right. Once again, we want to know what you guys think out there. Again, calling all fans, all NFL fans, calling all NFL fans. If you'd like to come on here and show us up, let us know. All right, there.
Yeah, won't be too hard to show me up.
Please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're, strangely enough, we just passed Friday, October 22nd. Last Friday was our 1 year.
It's our 1 year.
1 year of GeekTime TV. And we're at almost 5,000 watch hours. With 336
which is
subscribers.
Still amazing,
it's so bizarre. It's just, there are people who have 2,000 subscribers and 2,000 watch hours and would gladly, I wish we could trade 1,000 of our watch hours that we don't need for the rest of our subscribers that we would need, right? So it's so weird.
I guess that's one positive. It's got to try to.
Thank you. I mean, thank you so much for everyone who's watching our content. But for some strange reason, 98% of the people watching our content won't subscribe. It's so weird. That's got to be some kind of record. I don't understand.
I know.
I mean, it's awesome that people watch, but just we won't spam you. I promise.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and if you do subscribe, please hit the little bell, and then you'll know it every time we put up a new video. Anyway, it's late. This is probably our longest show since the preview show. So,
jeez,
we went long, but that's what happens because we like to talk about the football. So, good luck to you.
Exciting NFL.
Yeah, and we'll see everyone next week on this same channel. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up below. Also, please subscribe to GeekTime TV. It really helps us grow the channel. And make sure you hit that bell icon in order to receive notifications every time we drop new content here. You can also check us out on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at GeekTimeNet. Thanks again for watching. We will see you soon.
Say, kids, what time is that?